Ding Liren turned today into a shall we say Ravenous Beast. He was absolutely poised to deliver a spectacular and aggressive game, and he did. Play the English opening, very nice fianchetto. We're gonna look into this kind of into this moves here. You're gonna enjoy it, guys. Probably milk and cookies worked wonders. Or maybe coffee. I don't know. Is he allowed to drink coffee? I don't know. But it doesn't matter. What matters is that he's really now a warlord, or let's say a lord of war. If you guys seen the film with Nicolas Cage and stuff. So, okay, Ding Liren today was a lord of war. Okay, c4. E6 here, G3. Again, ready for the fianchetto. That's not to say that you can't play here knight C3, D4, knight F3, E3, you name it. All these moves are very good, but he likes to do the G3 here, and obviously that's telegraphing already bishop to G2. So D5 now, we're going to play a couple of natural developing moves, so I'm not going to stay 10 minutes with every single move. That could have been something else. So we just continue down the road a bit. Knight f6 now, getting pieces out, getting ready to castle the king, advancing the black pawn, again, taking the c3 in case you were dreaming about knight c3, no longer playable now, and castles. Knight c6, again, moving your guys into action. e3, and bishop e7, black also gets ready to castle their king. d3, pawn takes an incredibly normal, bishop takes on e3. Everything nice and cool, very playable, white and black both happy, not a problem. e5, now we're getting into beautiful subtleties. e4 means that the bishop can do something. Because you guys remember, we have to develop all of our pieces, especially the beginners and intermediates, I think will be benefiting the most from this video. And the other advanced guys will probably just having fun watching it, which is still a win-win, right? So bishop e6, bishop g4 means that you need to creating space, if it's not available, for your pieces to play off the back rank. Knight c3, exactly. There is no miracle up to this stage. You need to make it a habit, develop your pieces. And again, serves as a lesson. King safety, there you go, castle short. Rook fe1. Now we're starting moving the rook over to semi-open files. There is only one pawn here, the black pawn. And in principle, it's good to understand that we might have a knight and a rook attacking e5, which is currently defended only by the black knight on c6. If this bishop were to move somewhere meaning maybe g5, you've got it. Because Gukesh Dommaraju, phenomenal super grandmaster, emerging now from India with a bunch of other guys, similarly scary and fabulous players. h6. Why? Well, there's no space for the bishop to go in case you want to attack this guy twice. And of course, no bishop or knight for that matter. e3. We're telegraphing that we want to expand very nicely. a5 to put a stop any attempt you might have had about playing b4, no more playable now. I mean, it's so nice to decipher and to understand this, and hopefully we're going to get to play like this, guys, more often in our game. So a5, I hope obvious, you guys agree. And h3, again, prophylactically being played, h3. There is no bishop, because you may think, yeah, let's develop my pieces now, right? So Gukesh can't do now bishop g4, which is a pin is a pin, or he won't be able to play neither the knight. So h3 prophylactic, but not just to stop minor pieces, guys. h2 becomes available for the king to move if necessary. So again, every single move at some point has a multiple purpose. It's never just one thing and one thing only. It's many things. So bishop e6, because practically you want to get your pieces developed. Keep an eye on this, guy. So you're demotivating white from pushing d3 to d4 because this guy is hanging. So just to keep things in perspective. King h2 now being played by Ding Liren. Rook b8 again. telegraphing perhaps they may want to play this thing at some point, but obviously not quite right now. But what makes me actually understand is that rook b8, it's not because they want to push the b. No, no, no. They actually want to move away from this terrifying diagonal long-term medium. So yeah, and maybe they want to do knight a7 and then push. Who knows? Maybe. Queen to c2, connecting the two rooks now. Notice, important, getting your rooks cooperating and moving. Maybe, ideally, one rook wants to go to the D file and the other F rook wants to go to E file. The same goes for black as well in principle. So black plays rook Fe. Always a very healthy move, getting that rook on the E file, semi-open file. And now harmoniously and going now for a an outpost for the time being. So we've got the knight here on b5. He could be frustrated by the c pawn, but you can't move the c pawn because there is a knight. So, for the time being, that knight stays very well where it is. And also, he might be allowing some d4 at some point because c4 defended by the queen. So the bishop on e6 can't take. Now bishop f5. So Gukesh said, yeah, well, I've changed my mind. Let me go over to f5 because you absolutely cannot push the pawn. Ooh, look at this. So not playable. Sorry, Bob. It's not going to work. But rook a d1. Ding Liren probably said to himself, yeah, well, let me get my rooks in action now. Let me get my boys on the semi-open files. Semi-open file, a file which has one pawn of one color. And if there ain't no pawn on it, we call it open file or open column. Beautiful. Can you get more ideal than this? Wonderful. Beautiful. Still almost equally she, if I can play adverbially in this fashion. So knight to d7. Tries to shuffle pieces around here a bit, maybe doing something about the c5. Bishop g6 being played now by Gukesh. And I feel and I know many of us tactical, Tal worshipping crazy players would dream about doing the, the nasty stuff with the bishop taken on h6, all the bad girls and bad boys out there that they love to sacrifice. But it ain't working, pals, here. Doesn't work, mate, because if you play like crazy, but you actually, it doesn't pay off and you're not going to be winning, you're getting cooked. So if you're now getting greedy, that'll be a bad thing to take on h6, by the way. Why? I'm going to be explaining quickly. So yeah, you give a bishop for 2 pawns, but it ain't going to work because bishop f6. And that was it. You can't get your knight because of the battery. And if you're dreaming about h4, h5, it's too slow. Because bishop g7 attacks the queen. You got to move the queen away. You can't do a damn thing. So that's it. You've lost. You could go e3 or d2. No one cares really, guys. And that's it. You've lost it. You can't push the h5 to attack this guy on g6. So don't do this at home. Being said, you need more power and you ain't got it now with the white pieces. So Ding goes with the good old d4 idea, grabbing more stuff in the center, pushing, opening files and diagonals. Shut it off. Gukesh chose to shut it off, but when he actually decided to push it, not that he had too many options though, when he decided to push, actually he gave up on the f4, which is absolutely crucial. It's a very critical hot point here because the bishop is going to go to f4. So we're going to see this in a minute. One of those moves, backward move, which is necessary. So knight to g1, but no problem. You're going to get this guy on e2. So you're going to relaunch your beautiful white knight tactical. Knight b6, simple. Attack c4. You can't lose the c4 pawn. Queen to c3, defending. Bishop to f6 now. Pressure on this guy here. We've got 1, we've got 2, we've got the third attacker, but we got 3 defenses. So he ain't got no problem now. We're doing absolutely fine. Queen, though, moves away from this pawn. So moves away from this diagonal, I wanted to say, actually, whilst defending c4 from the knight. It's good to try keep the queen away from any potential opening of those diagonals, bishops. So a4 being pushed now by black is sort of like marginal move. It feels a little bit maybe unnecessary. Probably the idea, if I'm correct here, you guys drop me your comments. Probably the idea long term might have been in Gukesh's mind, maybe knight a5, knight b3. I don't know when and how, but probably that's what he, amongst others, thought about playing. So when he done this, he wanted to vacate for the knight, maybe. You guys tell me what you think. So knight to e2, we said important to relaunching the knight. Bishop to g5, he is desperate now. Gukesh, I guess, is desperate to trade off that guy. It's way too active, man. Knight f5, knight f4, apologies, plays Ding Liren here, and attacking the g6 bishop. And that's quite powerful. Also, super annoying knight. And Gukesh decides to take it off. Trades, takes. But now you do have an issue here. We signaled that ages ago, which is like a few minutes ago, but you guys got the idea. So rook c8, double defense for c7. Can't touch this now. You know the MC Hammer, can't touch this. That was in the 90th song. I didn't like it. Well, I didn't want to admit I like it because I was always considering myself a heavy rocker. So I didn't want to get into that kind of rap music, which has some very nice hits every now and then. So knight b8, a little bit of relaunching, but it's very cramped and already suffers. Already black suffers here. Backward move. Okay, probably he wanted to push the c pawn at some point, maybe playing c6 or something. And now Ding claims more and more space, pushes the pawn forwards now. And queen goes on d7, very cramped here, black. Again, further pushing, and a disaster for black now to take. We're getting into the most gorgeous part of the game. Please stay close, guys. You're going to love it. I mean, not what I'm doing. You're going to love what Ding played versus Gukesh. You can't like me. Maybe just a little bit. I mean, maybe a tiny little bit, not too much. So d6, queen can't take, obviously, for obvious reasons. Pawn could take, but then knight d6. What does that mean? Breaks my heart. It attacks the rook once, and the queen is naked. Can I say that? Oh my lord. Did I say the queen is naked? Right, I mean, chess-wise, the queen is naked in terms of sugar, this microphone. Queen is naked in terms of being on the same file with the white rook. That's what I meant when I said the queen is naked. Don't think other stuff, because that's not what I meant. I didn't mean what you thought. I meant what I just said. So c5, knight c7 attacks now the rook on e8. Rook f8 goes back. Bishop takes, obviously, because that guy was for the grab. So knight pushes the rook away, which defends twice the pawn on e4. The defender went away, and you couldn't have made it anywhere because all the squares are taken by white pieces. So it starts to crumble. Crumble and crumble and crumble. This game was flawlessly played by Ding Liren. Ravenous Beast Ding Liren, that is. He should make a t-shirt. He should tell his mom, Mama, can you print a t-shirt for me? I'm a Ravenous Beast. Bishop g2. And if you wonder why Bishop g2, yeah, you could take the knight. Don't get me wrong, taking the knight is never bad, because knight disappearing, knight on c6 disappearing, means that the rook can make it on e7. So that's just great. You got to take that guy away, of course. But there is another subtle plan here, and he wants to play differently. And I'm going to explain as we're moving. So rook now plays to mount a little bit of pressure on this pawn. And now he readjusts the knight. He goes on to d5, attacking the b6, which I don't know what you want to do, but it's not going to work. Nothing. And upon taking, he took with the pawn. Why? Because it pushes the knight on c6 to being even more defensive and useless, that is. Because you can't move, can't play, can't move. You're going to lose it. So you've got two very bad choices here. You either go a7 or you either go b8. So that knight all of a sudden is getting marginalized, ostracized, ineffective, not playing, not contributing here. So painful. And c5 is for the grub. Oh boy. Painful here to having the black pieces. Queen to d4. Knight to a6. Another pain. But again, And if I just pause it, if you haven't seen the game or something, you probably see, guys, the normalcy of the move, the simple efficiency. Rook e7 hits the queen, pawn defended by the bishop. They can't take it. I don't know where you're moving. It won't matter because you're gonna push that guy again. Yeah, you have double pawns, but you're actually killing it. You're actually killing it on all fronts, left, right, center, that's it. Especially in the center because of that very advanced pawn. Rook to c4 now tries to do some storm in a glass of water. Queen to e3 now. Going to safety, you cannot do this. And if you take this guy, it doesn't mean a bloody thing. So that doesn't mean nothing, taking the pawn on b2. It does do nothing. So he tried to create something, tries to create something. Who knows? But again, everything is too slow because white is 1 or maybe 10 steps ahead at this stage with the attacking power. Bishop to d6. It's not that strong to play rook e8. So if you self-investigate, if you do a little bit of self-inquiry, and you say to yourselves, having your favorite sandwich, say, oh, can I just push the pawn? Yeah, you kind of can, but black doesn't need to take. Of course they won't take. After you play rook e8, black may very well say, yeah, well, I'm going to take queen d7. You take my guy, I'm going to take. It's still good, winnable for white, but it ain't the strongest move because the strongest one, he found it, bishop d6, wants to say, well, I'm going to play my guy here. My bishop's going to attack your rook as well, and I'm having the dark squares, so the king can't move. So it's a big, big, big problem. Massive problem. Frankly, black should probably resign. He didn't resign yet. He is going to resign after the next move. So Gukesh plays f6. Don't get me wrong, there's just not so many good things to do. I mean, you could play bishop f5. I don't know. You think about something to do, but it doesn't address the stringent problem with this very advanced and rook e8 next move. It doesn't. So he played f6. And now there is a little hidden tactic, which he wasn't hidden for Ding because he had found it. This Ravenous Beast warrior monk that he is, like a Buddhist monk that he meditates and suddenly he turns into a fantastic fighter. You all good and bad girls and boys out there, you guys see the rook takes g7 probably. Obviously, we can completely discard the rook h8 because rook h8 followed by queen h6 is checkmate. Well, okay, you can delay the pain with bishop h7, but then queen take checkmate, done. So we can discard king h8, right? And now if you say, yeah, but don't they take my... Yeah, they do. But then you're going to take with the bishop. Check. You take. Well, can I just promote? So I push the pawn forward. I'm promoting myself. I'm getting a brand new queen. And, you know, so wait a second. Let me just... So after king takes, obviously it's white's turn. Sorry, I made a mouse slip. You're gonna push this guy. You're gonna get yourself a queen. Game over. We're not gonna look at it. That's it. It's done. It's done. You don't wanna. I don't know. What do you wanna play? I mean, what do you wanna play? It's f6. It's done. You're gonna move away from. It's a pain. Forget about it. Forget about it all. Okay, so white is winning. I hope it's obvious. If you're not very convinced, join the live stream, guys, and we can look step by step into more ideas. Thanks very much for watching this, guys. I'm very thrilled, very happy for Ding Liren having won this match, game 12. We've got 2 more games left in the classical type format. Hope you guys going to be joining my future videos and also join my past videos. There is some hidden gems out there for back there in the past videos, especially for beginners and intermediates. Share the videos, feel free with friends and enemies. Other than that, I'm glad you're here. Be good and be wise, and see you very soon.